Okay, hello. I'm a little hesitant to make theories on the Amazing Digital Circus because I feel like I could be completely wrong, or that whatever I say is going to pale in comparison to what other people have made, but I do want to be able to talk about it and contribute something to the conversation. Anyways, I'm going to be going over episode 7 today, but soon I would like to be able to talk about the other episodes that have come out so I can give my piece on things that I've liked in this show. Anyways, the beach episode. So this episode starts off with the group being given kind of a free day to do whatever they want. Jax doesn't really want to participate. He's overburdened with past memories that are affecting him negatively, of course. And the group are getting like a day to be on the beach and relax. They get like maybe 6 or 7 minutes of it. There's also a little fish cameo here from Zach Hadel, and I have to point out that this is the second one he's had where he's losing money in some sort of way. I don't know if this is really subtle foreshadowing or what. But anyways, Jax goes to his room. He has a near abstraction moment, but he's snapped out of it back into digital reality when Pomni and Ragtha come knocking on his door. And here they present him the stray mannequin that they found that happens to be a human, actually, or so they think. And the mannequin claims that he knows how to escape. They then find like a way to get into the Chinese room, and Pomni wants to retrieve Kinger, but the mannequin says he doesn't want to face him yet. He spins this whole narrative about how the CNA company hooked up people to the circus in like stasis pods or something. It's not too important because I was gonna say it's not too important because it gets revealed to be a lie later, but I'll touch more on that. He makes sure to keep mentioning how Caine can't escape, and Jax calls out how this is going to be a blatant fake out, and also the mannequin names itself Abel. The group, they go through this plan to get the key from Caine's mouth, and Pomni and Ragtha go with Abel to get administrator passes. Caine talks to Jax about his obsession with the CNA office and wanting to be able to recreate it. He says they cut him off, revealing that he was probably getting too advanced for their liking, or something along those lines, I think. Zubul and Gangle are waiting for Jax to get the key so they can distract him, and in the meantime they decided they're gonna tell Kinger about the plan. He shows like an obvious concern, saying escape is impossible, that he doesn't recognize he didn't say he doesn't recognize Abel, but it's obvious that he doesn't recognize that name. And when the passes are handed out to the group, he wants to say something to Pomni, but when he steps into the light, it sets him back into his absent-minded mode, and he's not able to recall anything that he was thinking prior to that. They're then thrown into Caine's office by Abel, who, when Pomni offers like, hey, when we get out of this I'll buy you a beer, he just repeats, make the right choice, because he's an AI obviously, and he's just programmed to say these things and he can't compute with the idea. When they are in Caine's office, Jax does get to see memories of an adventure with Ribbit and Kaufmo, I think, in like a snow cabin, and we do get a little sneak peek at Ribbit's voice in there. And while they're walking to the master room, Gangle tells Zubul about how she's worried that they'll stop being friends after this, and they assure her that everything here was real. They've reached the console, and Pomni worries about which button to press. While she wants Kinger to make the decision, she realizes he's not entirely lucid yet, and the group argue with her about pressing the blue button, just go with it, and then she's like, oh, what if it's a trick? Which also, I guess it wouldn't have been a trick, because there's a lot of foreshadowing to this, I believe. Mainly with, was it the last episode or the episode before that? There was an episode that was like an amalgamation of a bunch of adventures, and Kinger says like, I would go with blue. So I guess it wouldn't have been a trick, but whatever. That was a little quick tangent there, sorry. And while they're arguing, Jax has this like panic, remembering something with his car, and I've seen a lot of people say this is potentially about him running over a child. I'll get back to that. And he hits the red button in his moment of panic, and they're all distraught at his decision, and especially when Caine emerges, like they don't even get time to process what Jax just did. And he breaks into a manic laughter like when it clicks to him that he knows he was right and that this was all a fake out, and also that Caine is able to get into their minds, which Caine tries to deny as much as he can. When the idea of him being able to do things with their mental state, Kinger, despite there being this really bright light, is able to remember the first abstraction, which he refers to as scratch. Caine kind of panics and runs away. So first off, I wanted to say that I don't fully agree with the child getting run over theory. There is hints at it for sure, like the school zone in the driving flashbacks, Jax's room looking like a child's, and his avatar potentially being the kid's toy. It's possible, but I almost feel like it's a bit too obvious, but maybe not really obvious, but something about it just doesn't really feel right. I've seen people defend the theory by saying like Goosework says that Jax is the one who deserves to be in the circus the most out of everyone here, which yes, I do agree. Based on his personality, he does deserve to be there. Part of me doesn't really believe that he would have killed someone. It feels like a lot of indie things have someone that has killed a kid at some point, like FNAF, and I guess you can say any indie thing right now, like Poppy, Playtime. There's so many kids dying in the media that I kind of feel like Amazing Digital Circus, being what it is, tries to kind of not go into the tropes of every other thing that's coming out. It's more of its own thing, so I have a hard time believing it's gonna go with the guy, the most evil guy in the media killed a kid. It seems to me that it's more likely the memories were planted in there by Caine, and that's why Jax was like, you're right, you're messing with my head, not only about the vegan thing and all that, but these aren't real memories. I never actually hit someone. He's feeling convinced because Jax had been spiraling about Kaufmo and Ribbit, so his mind is the most like vulnerable to manipulation and guilt at the moment, so I think that's why he would have been targeted for that. Abel's remarks about Kinger being irresponsible with his power and saying we both did things we regret, I think it's going to lead to some sort of big reveal soon. I don't think he was lying about Kinger being a developer, especially with how serious Kinger got at the mention of an exit. A part of me kind of thinks that Kinger might have been a contributing reason to why Caine got shut out from the CNA offices, and that's why like he kind of has a resentment for him, because I think Kinger might be one of his favorites based on how he's treated Kinger in the past, but then he also might have a secret hatred for him because that's why he's blocked from the offices. I hope I am saying that correctly, that you guys can understand what I'm trying to say there. Also, with him being lucid enough in the light to remember Scratch, I think he was able to do that because Caine was losing control, because he had realized that he was caught in the fact that he's been lying to everyone in the circus for a while so that he can like get his adventures to be more fun or whatever, and he's so caught up in wanting their validation that he's so afraid of losing their respect or whatever love that they could have had for him that he lost control of the whole light thing, having to keep Kinger in character. I believe Caine's control extends to being able to keep them in their dedicated roles, making Jax act like the funny one, always having him brink. Like, I don't think part of me believes that Jax doesn't intentionally break Gangle's mask all the time because he thinks it's funny. I think he does it because Caine wants him to act like that, and Caine wants him to get Gangle back to the status quo of being the sad character. And Kinger is always, of course, pushed into being the crazy one with the light role, always having him go absent-minded. I have a very vague theory that Caine is gonna somehow escape. That's why I titled the video this, because I feel like it's gonna get clicks even though it's my least backed theory. He keeps telling them that he can't escape and that CNA is blocking him off, and I get the sense that he was really close to getting some sort of physical body or getting out of the circus, and he wasn't fully aware of that, but he's realizing it now, sort of, that he isn't entirely tied to it, or that he has a sense of learned helplessness that he can't get out, but if he does reconnect to the offices, he's gonna realize that he can find a way out. And also, I think if the humans do end up escaping, I think that Jax is gonna stay behind, similarly to how the source materials ending was. He's written similar to the main character in that. I also really did enjoy Zubul and Gangle's little scene together. I love every scene that they have with one another. Gangle's worry is very real because their bonding and their friendship is based in the circus and the experience that they have together. So once they escape, they might lose what made them so close. Hopefully not, but without having that environment to tie them all together, they might not want to be reminded of the life they had here, or that they might just distance themselves, or maybe they just won't have many things in common once they get into reality. And finally, really quickly, I want to say, I don't mean to make everything about being trans, but I do like that there are people who have theories that Jax is sort of a trans mask character. I don't know if it's canon or not. If he is canonically cis and it's just like there's coding for it. I think it's great that we can feel a kinship for that, because I have felt a kinship for a lot of his kind of vague scenes that hint at that. I've seen one of my friends point out the missing tail being kind of an allegory for a certain other missing thing. Things I felt a kinship for was like his aversion towards the maid dress thing and how that could have been like angering and dysphoric for him, or his comment on being the peak of masculinity and acting kind of cocky about it, or his room being like a quote-unquote little girl's room. Because I kind of I'm sure you guys have all noticed this, but like the characters all seem to be haunted by something from their real life in the circus, like Zubul being haunted by their dysmorphia, or Gangle's mask kind of being a reminder of her BPD. I don't want to say depression because that feels too much of like a blanket statement, but they're all haunted by something from their real life. You know, if he does actually turn out to be an FTM character, like it could be a contributing factor to why he doesn't want to leave the circus, is back in the real world. He doesn't, maybe he's pre-medical transition like, you know, a certain other guy that I know. But I mean, of course there's also just that he doesn't want to leave until he can confirm that Ribbit and Kaufmo can leave with him. But I like that little theory. I think it's fun. Again, doesn't have to be canon. I just think it would be sweet if he is. That's all I have written here. I would like to talk about this show more, as opposed to just always harping on Hazbin, talk about something I like for a change. But you know, yeah, that's all for now. Let me know what you guys think. Share whatever theories you guys have. Honestly, I find it hard to think of videos to talk about, like video ideas to talk about for this show, because I really like just immersing in it and waiting for the next seasons to come out. And then I feel like once the show is done, I want to like rewatch all the episodes and like give a big takeaway that I've had from the entire thing. But I would also like to just do some fun little ones on it and talk about things I enjoy. But yeah, that's all for now. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Great day.